Okay, well, welcome to Yoga for Cancer. I'm Rebecca Leary, and so happy to see everyone's faces this noontime. I was going to say this morning. And when I was writing out my class notes, I wrote Yoga for a Rainy Day in May. I hope everyone enjoyed the weekend, that it was meaningful and fun, but also safe. So taking a comfortable seat, allow your eyes to close or take a soft gaze. And take a moment to leave all of this behind and notice your sensory environment, feeling the ground beneath you. Everybody take your fingertips and touch. If you're sitting in a chair, you can touch the chair seat, or touch the floor and just notice what you feel. My floor is cool and a little bumpy, slightly dustier than I'd like it to be. My mat is pretty firm and squishy and a little bit sticky. Notice those textures around you, the feeling of your clothing against your skin, the light fluttering past your eyelids. This light flutter, I don't know, maybe it does. And then begin to turn your attention more deeply inward to your own breath. The body breathes without any input from us, but we can also change the breath. And by changing the breath, we can change our physical, mental, and emotional states. And so we practice. So begin first by noticing where you feel the breath. Is it at the tip of your nose, your upper lip, the back of your throat? Where do you feel it? Are you aware of the temperature of the breath? Cooler as you inhale and warmer as you exhale. The breath is warmed by the body. So stay with the sensation of the breath and then begin to follow the breath. Where does it go? Where does the inhale travel? And where does the exhale travel? Can you stay with the root of the breath as it enters the body and the pressure systems create sensation throughout quite a lot of the body if you take a full, deep breath? So let's work on our Dirga breath, our three-part yoga breath. So allow the breath to drop down. As you inhale, imagine the breath is going all the way down into the pelvic bowl, all the way down to your pelvic floor. Imagine that you're filling with breath like water fills a cup from the bottom to the top. So the breath, the sensation of the breath drops deep into the abdomen. Stay with a belly breath. Stay with this deep, low breath for several repetitions. If it's helpful, bring your hands to your low belly and feel them moving with the breath. Try to relax through the neck and shoulders, through the rib cage. All of the auxiliary breathing muscles are in these places, but those are for emergency breaths, for, the breath. And that is the antithesis of what we're aiming for right now. So long, long, slow, deep belly breaths. And then continue growing the breath, breathing first to the belly and then feeling the ribs expand. As the ribs move out to the side, feel the openness, the expansiveness of the breath. As you exhale, release the ribs in, the belly softens. Inhaling to belly and ribs. Stay with this part 1 and 2 of the three-part breath. And then we grow the breath once more, breathing into belly and ribs. And at the top of the inhale, now the chest lifts. As you exhale, release down the chest. Ribs come in, belly releases. So feel each of the three parts of the inhale and then a long, slow, and complete exhale. You may be able to hear my breath. I make it audible by using a breathing technique called Ujjayi breath, which creates a more audible sound. It also slows the breathing process. So I wanted to teach us Ujjayi breath today. We make this sound, it's sometimes called ocean sounding breath or Darth Vader breath. The name Ujjayi means victorious. This is victorious breath. And we make the sound by a gentle constriction in the back of the throat, as if you were fogging a mirror. But you do it with your mouth closed, and you do it on the exhale and the inhale. So, everybody give it a try, making a sound gentle in the back of your throat as you inhale and exhale. Stay with the three-part breath if you can. Allow your breath to be loud enough that if your microphone was on, we might be able to hear it. Or if there's someone in the room, maybe they can hear it. And now make it soft so it only resonates inside your head. Stay with Ujjayi and Dirga breath, three-part breath, for another 5 repetitions. And then release into your natural breath. And we'll continue together. I invite you to bring Ujjayi breath in whenever we're in a long hold of a pose, or if we're static in a pose, if we're just in a seated pose or a stationary pose. It can really help to focus the mind. It shouldn't be uncomfortable. If it's feeling really scratchy in your throat, then don't do it today. Maybe today's not the day. But keep it in mind. And whenever I go into Ujjayi breath, it's like an instant, immediate drop into a relaxed state. It just is calming to me. So I invite you to try it. So let's move it on with our sun breaths. Inhaling as the arms begin to float up. Make your breath just a little bit audible. We'll do 2 more. Last time, inhaling up and exhale, lower the right arm, come up and begin to make circles with your wrist. If extending the arm isn't good for you, keep it down lower. The idea is just to get this sensation in the side body. Make sure you've gone in both directions. I like to roll through my fingers. They ache sometimes. Inhale and take a long stretch. Exhale in place. And then begin to circle the arms. Inhale as you lift and open. Exhale as the arm comes down. So we tend to inhale on expansive movements and exhale on anything that's a little more contracting. So anytime there's a big strength move, that's usually on an exhale. And when we're trying to open up, we use an inhale. Use the next inhale to reverse direction of your arm circle. And then use your next inhale to lift up and over to the other side. We'll start with the wrist circles and the little finger flutters. I have to do our hand exercises. We haven't done those in a while. And then inhale and take a long stretch. Again, if the long lever is not good, you can always take a shorter lever, but you see how my side body stays open. And begin to circle. And again, see if you can find that ujjayi breath. I instantly want to slow down when I bring ujjayi in. Let's reverse direction. And the next time that you're inhaling, use the inhale to come up through center. Let's all bring our fingertips to our shoulders and begin to circle the elbows. We're circling the shoulders, but move the elbows. Draw them in, draw them back, up and around. Chicken arms, right? And reverse direction. Really take this, feeling the movement of the shoulder blades on your back. And then let's make it a figure 8. So one forward and one back. And reverse. I love this in my thoracic spine. It really gets things moving. And let it go. Release your arms, shake out your hands, and let's go ahead and come into bound angle, Baddha Konasana. I'm going to move back just a little bit. You probably still won't be able to see my feet, but I've got them soles of feet together. Knees are wide apart. If coming into this seat makes you rock way back, then sit up. I'm sitting on my bolster. I'm still up high so that I can still be up on my sits bones, right? So I'm not sitting on my tailbone. Imagine you have a tail. You don't want to sit on it. Let it come out behind you, sitting up nice and tall. And then let's do some circling, opening up in the inner thighs and in the hips. And take it in both directions. Come to stillness and let's find a seated cat-cow. So as you inhale, roll the pelvis forward. Open the chest, maybe you look up. As you exhale, now roll to your tailbone. Draw your belly in. Let the head come forward a little bit. We'll roll forward first. Open the front body. Maybe we look up. Don't drop the head though. Exhale and roll the tail under. Draw the belly in. You get the idea. Take a few more like this. Use your hands to help you create a little bit of support. And just one or two more. And we'll move to our tabletop position. So roll both knees to one side. I'm going to move my bolster out of the way, and I'll scoot back a little bit so that you can see me. So we'll come into our hands and knees position. And of course, we've talked about modifying for your hands. Maybe you need to be on your fists or on your forearms or maybe on blocks. If you have blocks, do have them nearby. Find your long spine and then move into cat and cow here. Inhale, tail lifts, belly softens, crown lifts. Exhale, tuck the tail, draw the belly in and let the head release. Move the tail and the rest follows like a ripple. Move the tail and the rest follows. Take your time moving through some cat and cow. Really connect the movement with the breath so that, again, as you expand the front body, that's when you take the inhale. And when you contract and draw the belly in, that's where you take the exhale. So just a couple more there. And then the next time you come through neutral, pause here. Let's work for just a moment on engaging the belly without moving the spine. So inhale in place, notice that nothing's changed. Exhale and draw the belly in and up. You can't really see because my shirt is loose, but my belly is softening, but I'm not dropping, right? It's not a cow pose. So inhale in place and exhale, draw the belly in. I'm not tucking my tail, I'm just moving the abdominal muscles to create some support in the lower body. So come to stillness and let's extend the right leg behind, toes curled under. Begin to roll through the foot, stretching through the ankle and calf. And then inhale and raise the leg just to hip height. Try and keep your hips level. Maybe you stay here, or maybe you add an opposite reach. Stay here, or we're going to do something a little different today. I want you to draw your right leg out to the side, your left arm out to the side, and then back to the side and back. Two more. And replace hand and knee. So did you feel that? That's definitely a core exercise. We'll extend left, toes curled under, find the stretch. And then inhale and find the lift. Now here I'm trying not to drop my belly down. I'm trying to keep it engaged for strength. Maybe I stay or add the opposite arm. And then maybe I add that side movement. My trainer will be so proud that I did this today. Come back to your starting position. Let's extend the right leg again, toes down. Pivot so you drop the heel, draw your other foot behind you, and open up into this version of side plank. Stay for a breath. And then exhale, release the hand down, roll back over the foot, and come back to your starting position. And we'll do that on the other side, extending left leg, toes down. Pivot so the foot comes down. Bring your other foot behind you like a kickstand and open into side plank. Stay for a breath. No holding of breath. Let it flow. And then exhale and release down to our tabletop. We're going to move into some knee down lunge exercises, kriyas. So if you have blocks or something to rest your hands on for some support, grab them now. And then step your right foot forward. I'll come on an angle, I think that helps. And begin to rock a little bit forward and back. Finding some opening in the front of the left thigh and the back of the right leg. And the next time that you come forward, pause here. We're going to lift up into a knee down warrior. Big inhale, reach through the arms. Exhale and come into goddess arms. Inhale, reach, get bigger. Press the hips forward if you can. Exhale, goddess strength. One more time, big reach. And exhale, hands come to blocks. We'll curl back toes under and come up into our lunge. Yes, you're with me? Good. So we're going to do a little maneuver here. We're going to pivot the foot like we did before when our knees were down. So I'm dropping my heel. Then I'm going to bring my hand to my thigh and open into extended side angle. I'm sorry, I'm facing away from you, but maybe you get where we're going. And stay for a breath. And then exhale and come back down, hands down, pivot back onto the ball of the foot, and slowly lower your knee. Woo, that was fun. Let's try it on the other side. So stepping the left foot forward, let's begin to rock. Here's where we just slowly begin to open the joints, begin to lengthen the muscles. And the next time we're coming forward, pause here and find that extension. Big open, maybe even a tiny back bend. Exhale, strengthen goddess arms. Inhale, reach and stretch. And exhale, draw arms down. One more time, big inhale, reach out. And exhale, hands down. We'll curl back toes under and step back into the lunge. If the other maneuver is not for you, then that's fine. Stay with your lunge. If you'd like to try it, pivot the heel down. Get on my mat. Bring your hand to your thigh and open. Extended side angle. So my knee is over my ankle, not coming past it. I'm reaching long. One more breath. And then exhale, hands down, pivot back onto the ball of your foot, and then lower your knee. And we'll draw the other knee back. Phew, that was fun. Let's make our way up to standing. So I'll use my blocks and come all the way up. Beautiful. I'm going to step back so that you can see me, and also because we'll be moving into a balance pose that may require some extra support. I've got the wall behind me. Maybe you have some sturdy piece of furniture that you could use if you need extra support. But let's find our mountain pose first, coming onto your feet, reaching down through fingertips and up through the crown of the head. Really feel the strength of this pose. Look straight ahead. No matter how the wind blows, the mountain does not yield. From this place of strength, we can do anything. So hold your mountain pose. And then exhale and release. You can even shake out a little bit. And then see if you can step right back in to the mountain pose. Beautiful. Active fingers reaching up through the crown. Weight is balanced on the feet. You're not leaning forward and gripping your toes. If your toes are scrunched, that's a good indicator that you're leaning too far forward. You're not way back in your heels where you feel like you're going to totter. I'm drawing my belly in, nice and supportive. From here, begin to bring your weight into your left leg. We're going to bring the right leg, we're going to bring the ankle above the knee, coming into a figure 4. I've got the wall behind me, so I've got a little bit of support. So find this position, make sure that your ankle is above your knee, and then begin to find maybe a little bit of, it's almost like a chair pose. So I'm coming forward at a bit of an angle. My foot, my ankle is resting on my knee. I've got my hands at heart center. And I'm breathing. Hold for another breath. And when you're ready, come all the way out and shake out. Beautiful. We'll go to the other side. So start by finding your mountain pose. Really get strong in that pose so that when you transfer the weight into the right leg, you still feel nice and secure. I'm going to cross the left up and over. I've got the wall behind me if I need support. I'm going to flex my foot. That helps to engage the leg. And then I'm bending my right knee a little bit forward as I lean. My tailbone is behind me. It's close to the wall. And I have a long spine, balancing here in figure 4. This is a version of tree. So find your breath in your balance. Maybe your hands are on something for support. Maybe you've got fingertips behind you. When you're ready to come out, that feels good. I'm going to move into just a little bit of chair pose. So stand on your feet, bring your hands towards your thighs, and draw your hips back behind you. Maybe I'll turn this way for this. So I'm using my hands, and I'm going to take my thumbs right into my hip creases and draw them back. My knees are bending, but they're staying back over my ankles. They're not coming forward, right? I'm moving back. My spine is long and straight. My hands are on my thighs for support. From here, draw your hands up your thighs, reach them behind you, and then draw them around, hands to heart center. We'll do that 2 more times. And last time. And stand up tall. Whew, well, that felt good. So come onto your mat and stand a little wider apart. Back up so you can see me. We're going to come into half moon pose. So if it's comfortable for you to raise arms overhead, I have my fingers interlaced and I'm going to release my index fingers above. But if that's not comfortable, hands can be anywhere that works for you. Big inhale to grow nice and tall, and press your hip to one side up and over to the other side. Here's the trick, is holding for a breath. And then inhale to grow tall, and we'll go right to the other side, coming up and over. Try to avoid dropping forward. Try to avoid dropping back, and try and stay in one plane. Inhale, come up, and exhale, release arms down. We'll do it one more time. Inhale, find your arm position, grow tall, and then come up and over to one side. If it's too intense, you can always bring a hand to your hip so you can stay for another breath. Inhale, come up through center, and exhale, come all the way over to the other side. Again, a hand on the hip is really supportive. Maybe you look down towards the floor. And inhale, come up. And exhale, lower the arms. Walk your feet in. So I wanted to work a little bit today with a squat. Now, this may not be for everyone. If you're working with a chair, you can sit with a nice wide stance in your chair, and that'll get you into your squat. If you know when you do squat that you need that your heels come up, then take something. I have a blanket, a yoga blanket here that I've rolled up, and I'm going to place it wide. It's nice and long, so I can bring my feet wide apart, and I'm going to place my heels. I need this. I can't squat flat-footed myself. Now, again, please, if this is not for you, just opt out and you can join us with the other parts of what we're going to do here. But we're going to take a nice deep squat. I'm bringing my fingertips to the floor and coming into my squat. Take it slow. And again, if you feel any knee pain, come right out. Good. Maybe you can bring your hands to heart center. So sits bones are dropping down towards the ground. Knees are wide apart. If your heels are up, they're resting on something. Some of us can do this easily without heels lifting up. So a hold for a breath. We're going to lower the right arm and inhale, reach with the left, little side bend. Exhale back to center. And same thing to the other side. And back to center. And now here's the trick. We're going to stand up. Press into your feet and come all the way up. Excellent. Great job. I have a friend who's a fellow yoga therapist. We were in yoga teacher training together, and she is on a campaign to bring the squat back. You know, all over the world, people squat all the time, and they have nice open hips and shins and ankles and feet. And so she's doing a 30 minutes of squat for 30 days. If I can do 10 minutes, I feel like I've accomplished something, but thank you for trying that out. Now, let's go ahead and make our way back down to the floor and come all the way down onto your belly. If it's uncomfortable for you to be prone, then go ahead and take something. You can take a folded blanket or a thin pillow and bring it underneath your hips or belly if you need a little bit more room underneath your body. So come on down and come into Sphinx pose, which looks, I don't have enough room in my space to back up enough so you can see me, but here, I'll try on an angle maybe. No, okay, still can't see. All right, what if I turn this way? Yeah, there we go. You can almost see me, I think. So I'm on my elbows, my forearms are down. My elbows are underneath my shoulders, my hands are down. I'm snugging my hips forward into the pillow or the cushion or the blanket or the floor. And I'm going to do a little kick with my feet. Make sure your hips are pressed down, don't let them come up. And I call this slumber party. I didn't make it up, someone else did. Great. So come to stillness. Now we're going to take a turn, coming into a little bit of a twist. So bring your left hand and make it parallel with the edge of your mat, if you have a mat. Bring it across horizontally. And bend your right leg. We're going to turn and reach towards the leg. Now, if the leg is far away, that's fine, just reach. If you can grab the leg, go ahead and grab it. Press the foot into the hand. You're looking towards that direction, and you should feel some opening in across the chest, in the belly, maybe in the front of the thigh. Hold for one more breath, and then if you have the foot, release it, and come all the way back. Bring your elbows out wide, stack your hands, and rest your forehead coming into crocodile pose. This is a good time to employ some of that Ujjayi breath. So pause for some breath and try to let go throughout the body. And then we'll move to the other side. So press back up to Sphinx pose. This time we'll turn the right arm parallel, horizontal, however you think about it. And you're going to bend the left leg up and reach back. Maybe you're just reaching, or maybe you can grasp the foot. So turn your head towards the direction you're turning. Keep thinking about pressing your hip down. So I'm still trying to press my left hip down. I'm holding on to my foot or reaching for it. If you're holding it, maybe you can press the foot away and get a little more stretch for one more breath. And then release the leg and come back to crocodile. Elbows out wide, hands are stacked, and rest your head on your stacked hands. And take a few breaths here. Beautiful. When you're ready, press into your hands, bring toes together and knees wide apart, and come back into your child's pose, letting your hips come down towards your heels, your head come down towards the floor. Maybe you have that same elbows out, stacked hands position. You can also stack your fists to raise your hands up or make the floor closer, right? Find a comfortable child's pose and take several breaths here. In this position, as your belly is somewhat more compressed, you're going to feel an expanding in the kidney area, or even in the mid-thoracic spine as you inhale and the ribs move, the spine lengthens. Enjoy the stretch, long, slow exhales. 3 more breaths if it's comfortable for you. I know not a lot of people find child's pose comfortable. For some of us, it's a resting pose, but for others, it's really a big stretch. So 1 or 2 more breaths, and then slowly come down and roll onto your back. Coming on to your back with knees bent, feet on the floor. Walk your feet out as wide as your mat or wider than your hips, and let your knees drop in towards center. Imagine I'm lying down. Coming into like a pigeon-toed position. This is a counter pose from many of the poses we've done today. So stay for a few breaths here. And as you're resting here, I want you to think about where you can get to close by. Maybe if you're in your living room or your bedroom, you have a chair or couch or even the bed if it's not too high, or a stack of pillows where you can bring your lower legs up. So your hips are at 90 and your knees are at 90. So we're going to move towards constructive rest pose. Sometimes in the studio, people will take blocks and bring a bolster on top, little Stonehenge. That's one way of doing it. But when you're at home, you've got all these bits of furniture nearby, perhaps. Maybe there's a chair that's just right for you to bring your legs up and rest them. So take a moment now to try and find that place for constructive rest pose. So your knees and hips are bent at 90 degrees. You don't want your hips to be off the floor. So if the structure is too high, it's going to pull you up, and that's going to put some strain on your back. So don't let it be too high. Try to find the just right spot. And if that's just not available to you right now, then you can stay in that other pose that's also called constructive rest that we just did, with feet wide apart, knees dropping in towards center. So take a moment to find your version of constructive rest pose. And as you settle into the pose, feel the sensation of your big thigh bones, your femurs dropping straight down into the hip sockets so that you can completely relax your hip flexors and your psoas muscles, your low belly. As much as possible, let the legs be relaxed so that you're not gripping and holding them in place. If you're lying flat, maybe you'd like to have your arms out at a T or even in cactus arms, or they can be down at your sides, palms up or down, whatever feels comfortable. Take a moment to feel those points of connection with the ground. Feel the length of your spine along the ground, the back of your head. Feel your hips heavy. Feel the backs of your legs or maybe your knees touching together. Feel your heels or ankles or soles of your feet, whatever's touching. And know that even if you were in a high-rise building, whatever your floor is, that is our representation of the earth. That is the place where gravity is pressing us against, so that we have that sensation of being grounded in the earth. Of course, it would be great. Hang on. Okay, mute it again. Of course, it would be great if we could be outside, and maybe we'll do an outdoor yoga class sometime. That would be really lovely. Maybe before we even get to the studio, we could gather together and do some kind of a social distanced outdoor space. But anyway, we'll dream later. Allow your breath to be slow and steady without control. Let go of the ujjayi sound if you've experimented with it today. And begin to imagine that you feel the warmth from the center of the earth radiating up to warm the length of your spine, the back of your head, the backs of your legs or feet, as if you're lying on this just lovely radiating heat surface. Allow that heat to help you feel as if you could melt right into the ground, into your supports. Feel the heat at the back of the head, through your back of your neck and shoulders, the shoulder blades, down the backs of your arms and hands, along that muscle group on either side of your spine, the erector spinae, all the way to your hips. Feel the warmth spreading through your hips, your glute muscles, your bottom. Even feel the warmth at the backs of your legs, into the backs of your knees, your calves and ankles, and all along the soles of your feet. This warmth, this healing warmth is spreading and softening. Now begin to imagine that the sun is above you and it's warm, not hot, and there are no harmful rays. You don't have to worry about sunscreen at this moment because it's a fantasy. So have the big, beautiful, bold sun, as warm as you like it, beaming down upon you, bathing your face, front of your neck, your throat, your collarbones, your chest and belly, your arms and hands, all bathing in this safe and warm light from the sun. Feel the warmth at your hips, tops of your thighs, even to your pelvic floor, all the way down those big muscles of the legs and your shins, all the way to the fronts of your ankles and the tops of your feet, all the way to the ends of your toes. Feeling enveloped in warmth and comfort and healing energy. Relax, release, and just let go. If you are not comfortable in this position, you may shift into a different position for your rest pose, Shavasana. It's almost dawn, and the usual half miracles begin within my own personal body as the light enters the gates of the east and climbs into the fields of the sky, and the birds lift their very unimportant heads from the branches and begin to sing. And the insects too, and the rustling leaves, and even that most common of earthly things, the grass, can't let it begin another morning without making some comment of gladness, respiring softly with the honey of their green bodies. And the white blossoms of the swamp honeysuckle, hovering just where the path and the pond almost meet, shake from the folds of their bodies such happiness it enters the air as fragrance, the day's first pale and elegant affirmation. And the old gods liked so well, they say, the sweet odor of prayer. Begin to deepen your breath, bringing small movements into fingers and toes. If your legs are still up, carefully draw them towards your chest and hug them in. And gently roll to one side, pausing there for just a few breaths. And when you feel ready, press into your hands and slowly arrive up to a seated position, allowing your attention to stay deeply inward for another moment or two. And we'll seal our practice with 3 chants of Om, one for the earth, and one for the sun, and one for the community we create when we practice together. If you'd like to join, bringing hands to heart center, we'll inhale together. Oh. 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 Om Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me and with everyone.